Well, we're back in the attic again.
Yes, we are.
Another collector's attic. We're still playing with Monogram 8 scales.
They're fun.
They are really fun. And this was the last release from the 1960s.
Okay.
Even though the release that we're going to be looking at is from the 90s, I think.
The 90s?
It's this little guy right here.
Oh, look at that.
The 1965 Corvette Sting Ray.
Wow.
Is that amazing? So they came out with this and the Jaguar about together.
Oh.
And by then, like I say, the market was sort of saturated and kind of oversaturated, and people just sort of lost interest. So you didn't see these built a whole lot.
No.
One of the advantages that the Vette had over the Jaguar is the kids liked them more.
Yes.
It's a Corvette.
It's a Corvette.
It's a Stingray.
Yes.
And this was at a time when all the kids wanted a Stingray
they
because
sure
they were
did.
out.
Yes.
You know, this was a current model when this model was released.
Right.
And all of the big T's had come with Chevy engines, small block Chevy engines. This now again has a small block Chevy engine because it's a Corvette.
It's a Corvette.
And it comes with the plenum injection and some of those things that some of the Corvettes came with. So you could turn this into a dragster. You could punch out the hood and put a blower up through the hood. There was a lot of things you could do to one of these that you were not going to do with the Jaguar.
Right.
So in that regard, these were a little more popular, I think, than the Jag. But the Jag, neither one of them sold that well. Again, the 8-scale market was sort of saturated.
Right.
And at this point, Monogram just gave up on the 8-scale market. It had been their biggest home run in the history of home runs for quite some period of years. And yet here we are only 3 years after the Big T came out, and they sort of blown the market apart and oversaturated it for a while. Subsequently, in the 1970s, there was so much demand by people to bring them back out because we had destroyed all of our original models. I mean, we were kids, you know, there's firecrackers, there's BB guns, and so models have a way of going away,
They sure do.
especially when goofy kids are the ones building. And so I was just dying to get a hold of another Big T, to get a hold of a Deuce Coupe, to even get a hold of one of these.
Oh, sure.
Right, and after what was an eternity, I believe it was about 6 or 7 people's lifetimes, then Monogram said, yeah, they were going to release 4 models. The Big T, the Deuce Coupe, the 65 Corvette, and the 63 Jaguar. Okay, so all of those were re-released in about 75-ish, somewhere right in there. Now, to me, that had just been forever, but when you think about it, it had barely been over 10 years.
Yes.
It had been 10 years since this one was out.
Right.
10 years since they'd blown the market up. And oddly enough, every 10 years since, all those models have been re-released.
Come back out.
It's
a 10-year thing.
Yeah, and they still keep coming because they saturate the market.
Yes.
And they make a run. When the way they make models is they'll make a run on them. However many they produce, that's how many they produce. They're not going to make another run until they think there's a market out there for it. And that seems to be, with these models anyway, about a 10 to 15 year interval, something like that. The release of the Big T was sort of disappointing on the 70s release because they turned it into the Golden T, and when I got one, it was like, this is not the Big T.
No.
A lot of the parts were different. The chrome was gold-plated. The car, you know, and it's like, I just want the classic red with white wall tires, and they'd gone to radial tires, but there was a lot of rumor going around that molds had been damaged and destroyed, and that they had to retool to get the Big T out. These are verbatim. These are just exactly the way they were, and subsequent Big T's came back as the original Big T. My suspicion is that they just did the Golden T to try to jazz it up a bit. I don't know. And now subsequent releases, you can get pretty much all of those original 4 Big T's. The tub, the race, the rod, and the Big T. And of course the 65 Corvette, which is sitting right here. There's 2 more sitting over there.
Neat.
They this was so successful for them that they subsequently started making 8-scale models again when they re-released it in the late 70s. And the next car to come out was another Corvette, an 82 Corvette. But that's a subject for another show.
It is
the 82 Corvette in 8-scale. But then they went through a whole series. They did the Trans Am, they did the IROC Camaro. And once again, they sort of oversaturated. In this case, they kind of went bankrupt and stuff. Plastic model building is just not what it once was.
No.
And but there was another burst of 8-scale modeling in the 1980s.
Right.
After the re-release of the original cars, the 4 with the 4 variants of the Big T. So you could really say 7. But 4 distinctly different cars.
Right.
The Corvette, the Jaguar, the Deuce Coupe, and 4 different Model Ts.
Exactly.
So how cool is that?
That's way cool.
These will set you back in re-release form around 120 bucks.
But still.
Around 150 for an original 60s release off of eBay, so not that much different. Adjusted for inflation, the original 1995 price tag of one of these had gone up a little since the Big T. They just pretty much always have sold for about the same amount of money on the collector market or anything. You're, you know, just inflation's driving the price up, but the actual value of the thing holds about the same.
Yes.
So they're out there. Should you want to build yourself a 65 Corvette, here's one sitting right here. There's two more sitting right over there. Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, do pop on over to the channel. And while you're on the channel, you want to binge watch.
Yes.
This time of year.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on.
There's snow. You know, you're either going to be working on your model railroad, which is awesome.
Yes.
Or building a plastic model, which is awesome. Or watching Toyman Television, which is more awesome.
Yes.
So binge watch while you're over on the channel.
Yes.
If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. And you can do that by clicking the blue button, zoink! Right there, that blue button that says subscribe means exactly what it says. Makes you to a subscriber.
Yes.
Takes you to the channel.
It does.
Makes you cool.
Yes.
And notifies you when we upload a movie.
Exactly.
Which is every Sunday morning for the regular show.
Sure, yes.
And the collector shows just come up when the collector shows come up, because collecting is like that.
Yes.
When you find it, you buy it.
Yes.
When you find it, you watch
and
it.
we'll share.
Because they're just rare and unusual, and so you zoink over there, the blue button, because we're moving off into some strange directions. Go binge watch.
Yes.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
We're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here again on Sunday with the regular show. See you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.